All right, so we're diving into Fisheries Master interview prep today. And we've got a ton of RoleCatcher resources to work with, career guides, interview guides, even some info on their AI tools. Kind of think of this deep dive as your cheat sheet for how to stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, definitely. It's all about taking what you know and making sure those interviewers see how that connects to what they're looking for in a fisheries master.
Exactly. So how about we jump right into a little mock interview? Let's say I'm the interviewer, and I hit you with that classic opener. What exactly does a fisheries master do? How would you nail that answer?
Well, I'd want to make sure I'm going beyond just the basic captain a ship. I'd really emphasize all the different things a fisheries master does. Navigation, cargo handling, managing the crew, even fish processing. It's really about showing them it's a multifaceted role.
Okay, so more than just driving the boat. What about that 500 gross tonnage requirement RoleCatcher mentions? Should you bring that up?
Definitely. It shows you understand the level of responsibility involved. You could say something like, I'm comfortable operating vessels of that size and understand the regulations and safety procedures that come with it.
Perfect. Demonstrating your competence right off the bat. Okay, so let's say I follow up with, this is a physically demanding job. Are you prepared for that?
Well, honesty is key there. You could say something like, I understand the challenges, the exposure to the elements, the long hours, but I thrive in those conditions. And maybe even mention a specific example, like a time you overcame a physical challenge at sea.
Smart. You're showing you're realistic but also super determined. Okay, let's dive into some tougher questions now. One that pops up a lot is, describe your experience with fish population assessments.
This is where you've got to get specific. Think about projects where you've used those assessment methods, analyzed data, or contributed to sustainable practices. Did you use mark recapture methods, sonar surveys, things like that? Quantifiable results are always impressive.
Right. Don't just tell them what methods exist. Give them examples. What if they then ask, how do you stay current on the latest fisheries management techniques?
This is your chance to show them you're a lifelong learner. Mention professional organizations you're part of, journals you read, recent industry events you've attended. And don't forget resources like RoleCatcher. Their career guides and skill guides are great for staying up to date.
Yes. Showing you use resources is a sign of initiative. All right, here's a tricky one. Describe a time you made a tough decision regarding fisheries management.
The behavioral questions. For these, you need a specific example. Think of a time you were facing competing demands, maybe balancing catch quotas with crew safety, or making a call based on unpredictable weather. Explain how you weighed your options, the decision you made, and the outcome, highlighting your problem-solving skills.
It's all about showing you can handle the pressure. Think on your feet. Okay, similar vein. What's the biggest challenge facing fisheries management today?
Now, this is your chance to show off your industry knowledge. You could pick something like overfishing, the impact of climate change, even the complexities of international fishing regulations. Briefly explain why it's significant, and then offer a potential solution. Show them you're thinking ahead.
Like a mini presentation right there in the interview. You're not just a captain. You're a leader thinking about the big picture. Okay, how about this one? How do you prioritize competing demands in fisheries management?
Organization is key here. You've got to balance things like economic considerations, conservation goals, crew safety, regulatory compliance. You need a framework for making tough decisions, maybe emphasizing collaboration and stakeholder engagement.
You're showing them you can juggle it all.
Okay.
Next question. How do you ensure fisheries management decisions are based on the best available science?
This is all about showing you're data-driven. You could mention your reliance on scientific journals, research institutions, even data from your own operations. Have you used specific software or models for analysis? Tell them about it.
No gut instinct here. It's all about evidence-based decision-making, which leads perfectly into this next question. How do you balance economic considerations with conservation goals?
Yes. The classic dilemma. You've got to acknowledge the inherent tension there, but focus on finding win-win solutions. Have you implemented sustainable practices that also boosted profits, worked with local communities on marine protected areas? It's all about finding that balance.
That sweet spot is crucial. Okay, let's switch gears for a minute and talk about RoleCatcher's AI tools. How can those help with these tricky questions?
Their AI can analyze job descriptions and then tailor your responses to really highlight the skills they're looking for. You can even use it to rehearse your answers and get feedback on your delivery, your content, even your body language.
Like having a personal coach in your corner.
Exactly. And here's the really cool part. It can even suggest follow-up points to emphasize based on what you've said. It's like a real-time strategy guide for your interview.
That is incredible. Sounds like RoleCatcher's AI can give you a serious advantage.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about using every resource you can to be as prepared as possible. It's amazing how much AI can help us get ready for these interviews. But at the end of the day, experience matters too.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of experience, how about this question? How do you evaluate the effectiveness of fisheries management strategies? What are some key points to hit there?
I'd say it's about showcasing your analytical skills.
Hmm.
You could talk about specific metrics you've used in the past, fish stock levels, ecosystem health, even economic indicators. Explain how you gather and analyze the data. And if you've used any particular software or models, definitely mention those.
Right, it's all about showing them you can track progress and measure impact. Okay, ready for a curveball. What are your thoughts on the impact of climate change on fisheries management?
This one's about showing you're aware of the bigger challenges facing the industry. You could discuss how changing ocean temperatures and currents are affecting things like fish populations and migration patterns, and then connect that back to how you'd adapt management strategies accordingly.
So you're not just focused on the here and now, but also thinking about the long-term sustainability of the industry. What if they then ask about a specific regulation? Like, how familiar are you with the STCW convention?
Yes, the STCW convention. For those listening who might not be familiar, that stands for Standards of Training Certification and Watchkeeping for Seafarers. It's a set of international regulations that ensure competency and safety at sea.
Thanks for the clarification. So how should you approach a question about specific regulations like that?
Definitely don't just say yes or no. You want to briefly explain the purpose of the regulation and how it impacts your work as a fisheries master. You could even mention specific training or certifications you have that show you're compliant.
Okay, so it's about showing them you understand the why behind the rules. All right, let's shift gears a bit. We've talked a lot about interview prep, but what about the career path itself? What kind of progression can someone expect in this field?
RoleCatcher's Career Guide outlines 3 main stages: entry-level junior and senior fisheries master. At the entry level, you're mostly assisting with various tasks, gaining experience, building that foundation.
So starting out, it's all about learning the ropes.
Exactly. As you progress to junior fisheries master, you take on more responsibilities. Planning fishing activities, supervising operations, even helping with crew management.
So you're starting to step into a leadership role at that point. What
Yeah.
about the senior fisheries master level?
That's where you become a strategic leader. You're developing plans for entire fishing operations, making sure everything's compliant with international regulations, fostering a culture of excellence among your crew, and even collaborating with stakeholders to promote sustainability.
Wow, that's a big jump. What are some things someone can do early on to set themselves up for that kind of career growth?
Aside from getting as much hands-on experience as possible, certifications are key. The Commercial Fishing Vessel Operator License is a must-have, and the Maritime Certification STCW shows you're committed to international standards.
So those are the essentials. Any other certifications that can give you a leg up?
Definitely things like First Aid and CPR certification, Vessel Safety and Survival certification. These all show you're competent and professional, and don't underestimate the power of networking.
Right. Where can someone go to connect with other professionals and learn from the best?
Industry events and associations are great for that. And LinkedIn is a fantastic tool for building your network and staying up to date on industry trends. It's like your digital fishing net for career opportunities.
I love that analogy. Okay, so we've covered career progression pretty well, but let's circle back to interview prep for a minute. How can RoleCatcher's AI help someone tailor their answers to specific job roles?
Their AI is amazing at analyzing job descriptions. It can pick out those keywords and skills that are important to the employer, and then it suggests ways to weave those keywords into your answers, making sure you're hitting all the right notes.
So it's not just about knowing the right answer, it's about presenting it in a way that resonates with that specific employer.
Precisely. It's about speaking their language and showcasing the skills they're actively looking for. RoleCatcher's AI takes all the guesswork out of that process.
That's incredibly helpful. What about practicing your delivery? How does RoleCatcher's AI help with that?
They have this awesome interview practice tool. It's like having a personal coach in your pocket. You choose from their library of interview questions specific to the Fisheries Master role, or really any role you're preparing for. And then you record yourself answering the questions just like you would in a real interview.
So you can practice in a comfortable setting without the pressure of a real interview.
Exactly. And then the cool part, RoleCatcher's AI analyzes your video and gives you detailed feedback on your performance.
What kind of feedback does it give?
It looks at everything: your delivery, your content, your body language, your use of language. It even assesses things like your tone of voice and your level of enthusiasm.
Wow, that's comprehensive. It's like having a coach analyzing every aspect of your interview technique.
It really is, and the feedback is super specific and actionable. It might tell you to slow down your speech, make more eye contact, give more concrete examples, or even adjust your posture.
It helps you identify areas for improvement and really refine those interview skills.
Exactly. And the beauty is you can practice as many times as you need until you feel confident and ready.
It's like having a secret weapon for your job search.
I love that. It's true. RoleCatcher's AI tools can give you a real advantage in the job market.
Well said. Now, before we move on, I have a question for you. Knowing what we know now about the demands and challenges of this role, what advice would you give to someone just starting out on their fisheries master journey?
That's a great question. I'd say first and foremost, immerse yourself in the industry. Get as much hands-on experience as you can. Whether it's working as a deckhand, volunteering on fishing vessels, or connecting with experienced professionals, nothing beats practical experience.
So dive in to get your hands dirty.
Exactly. And while you're gaining that experience, start working towards those essential certifications. That commercial fishing vessel operator license is your ticket to command.
Got it. Practical experience and certifications are the foundation. What else is crucial for success in this field?
Don't neglect the academic side of things. RoleCatcher's Career Guide recommends looking into degrees in marine biology, fisheries science, or marine engineering. Those programs give you a solid theoretical foundation to complement your practical skills.
So it's that combination of knowledge and experience that makes a well-rounded fisheries master. Any other pearls of wisdom for those aspiring captains out there?
Never stop learning. The fishing industry is constantly changing, so stay curious, embrace new technologies, and be adaptable. The Fisheries Master of the future will be a tech-savvy leader who's always learning and growing. Such great advice. Now, I want to revisit a couple of those tricky interview questions. I think some folks might feel intimidated by questions like, describe your experience with fish population assessments, especially if they don't have a ton of direct experience yet. Any tips for handling that?
Absolutely. If you're lacking direct experience, focus on transferable skills. Maybe you've worked on a research project involving data analysis, or you've helped collect data on fish catches. Highlight those experiences to show you can work with data and contribute to scientific understanding.
So it's about framing your skills in a way that's relevant to the role, even if the experience isn't a perfect match.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to express your passion for sustainable fishing and your desire to learn more about fish population assessments. Employers value enthusiasm and a willingness to grow.
That's good to hear. Now let's revisit that question about balancing economic considerations with conservation goals. It feels like such a tricky balance to strike. How can you make sure your answer doesn't sound naive or overly idealistic? It's important to acknowledge the complexity of the issue and avoid those overly simplistic solutions. Don't just say we need to protect the fish at all costs. Instead, show that you understand the economic realities of the fishing industry and the need to find sustainable solutions that support livelihoods while also ensuring the long-term health of fish stocks.
So it's about finding that sweet spot.
Precisely. And I think it's important to emphasize collaboration. Successful fisheries management requires working with a variety of stakeholders: fishermen scientists, regulators, environmental groups, to find common ground and create solutions that benefit everyone.
Collaboration is key. It's about bringing people together to achieve a shared goal.
Exactly. And highlighting your communication and collaboration skills is a great way to impress potential employers.
Okay, I think we've given those two questions a good re-examination. Any other general interview tips for aspiring fisheries masters before we move on?
You know, as I was going through these RoleCatcher resources, I was really struck by the emphasis on showcasing your passion for the industry. Let that enthusiasm shine through. Talk about what drew you to this career, what excites you about fisheries management, and what you hope to achieve in this role.
Passion is contagious. It shows the interviewers that you're not just looking for any job. You're genuinely invested in the future of this industry.
Absolutely. Passion is a powerful differentiator in any interview.
Well said. Okay, I think we've covered a ton of ground in this deep dive. We've explored the roles and responsibilities, tackled some tough interview questions, and even gotten some great career advice. I'm feeling pretty pumped.
Me too. I think our listeners are walking away with a solid toolkit for success.
Absolutely. Now, I know we've touched on RoleCatcher's AI tools throughout our conversation, but I think they deserve a little more attention before we wrap things up.
I agree. Those tools can be a game changer for anyone prepping for a Fisheries Master interview. Let's dive a little deeper into how they work.
Sounds good. Let's start with their AI-powered CV resume builder. Can you walk us through how it works and why it's so beneficial?
It's incredibly user-friendly. You just upload your current CV or resume and then input the link to the job description you're applying for. RoleCatcher's AI takes over from there. It analyzes both documents and suggests targeted improvements to your CV or resume.
So it's not just a generic CV builder, it's tailored to the specific job you're applying for.
Exactly. It helps you highlight the skills and experience that are most relevant to that role, increasing your chances of getting noticed by recruiters and hiring managers.
I have even heard their AI can analyze the tone and style of the job description, and then suggest adjustments to your CV or resume to match.
That's right. It's all about aligning your application materials with the company's culture and the specific needs of the role.
That's impressive. It's like having a personal branding expert on your team.
It really is. And the best part is it saves you so much time and effort. Instead of spending hours agonizing over what to include and how to phrase things, you can let RoleCatcher's AI guide you.
It takes all the guesswork out of it, and it helps you create a polished and impactful CV or resume.
Exactly. And once you've got your application materials in top shape, it's time to start practicing for those interviews. That's where RoleCatcher's AI-powered interview practice tool comes in.
I've heard great things about this tool. It's like having a virtual mock interview with expert feedback.
It's pretty amazing. You pick from a library of interview questions specific to the Fisheries Master role or any other role you're interested in, and then you record yourself answering the questions just like you would in a real interview setting.
So you can practice in the comfort of your own home.
Exactly. And after you've recorded your answers, RoleCatcher's AI analyzes your video, and it gives you detailed feedback on everything.
What kind of feedback are we talking about?
It looks at your delivery, your content, your body language, your use of language. It even assesses your tone of voice and how enthusiastic you sound.
Wow, that's really thorough. It's like having a personal coach breaking down every aspect of your interview technique.
It really is. And the feedback is so specific and helpful. It might suggest things like slowing down your speech, making more eye contact, providing more concrete examples, or even adjusting your posture.
So it's all about pinpointing areas for improvement and refining your interview skills.
Exactly. And you can practice as many times as you need until you feel completely ready.
It's like a secret weapon for your job search.
I love that analogy. RoleCatcher's AI tools can really give you a leg up in the job market.
Well, I think we've covered RoleCatcher's AI tools pretty thoroughly. They sound incredibly useful for anyone trying to land their dream job as a fisheries master.
I couldn't agree more. It really does feel like we've covered all the bases for prepping for this Fisheries Master interview.
Yeah, we've explored what the role entails, tackled those tough questions, and even gotten some career advice along the way.
We even took a deep dive into how RoleCatcher's AI can give you that extra boost in your preparation.
It's like having a secret weapon in your back pocket.
It really is. And, speaking of having an edge, I think there's one more aspect that's super important for success in this field, the human element.
Ah, the soft skills. Those are always important no matter what job you're going for.
Exactly. While technical knowledge and experience are definitely crucial for a fisheries master, those personal qualities play a huge role too.
So what are some of those key personal qualities that interviewers might be looking for?
Well, resilience is a big one. You're going to be working in a demanding environment. Long hours, unpredictable weather, potential risks. You need to be able to handle the pressure, bounce back from setbacks, and stay positive even when things get tough.
Makes sense. It's not a job for the faint of heart. What else?
Leadership is crucial. You're responsible for the safety and well-being of your crew, and you need to be able to inspire, motivate, and guide them effectively. Strong communication skills, decisiveness, and the ability to build trust are all essential.
So it's about being more than just a captain. It's about being a leader who can create a positive and productive environment on board the vessel.
Precisely. And one more quality I think is really important is a deep respect for the environment. A successful fisheries master understands that we are stewards of the ocean and that our actions have a direct impact on the health of marine ecosystems.
Yeah, sustainability isn't just a buzzword. It's a way of life for a responsible fisheries master.
Absolutely. It's about fishing in a way that ensures the long-term health of fish stocks, minimizes environmental impact, and supports fishing communities for generations to come.
That's a powerful vision. And speaking of visions, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive with a final thought for our listeners.
I'm all ears. What wisdom do you have to impart?
Remember, the journey to becoming a fisheries master is a marathon, not a sprint. It takes dedication, hard work, and a genuine passion for the industry. But with the right preparation and the right tools, like RoleCatcher, you can achieve your goals and make a real difference in the world of fisheries management.
Beautifully said. I couldn't agree more.
So to all those aspiring fisheries masters out there, we say fair winds and following seas.
May your nets be full of success.
And that brings us to the end of another deep dive. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of the Fisheries Master career. We hope you found it informative and inspiring.
It's been a pleasure sharing this journey with you.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.